Starting out the second half with a bang, the Phoenix Suns beating the Oklahoma City Thunder on the road in the first night of a back-to-back. We will talk about everything that went right, a surprising lineup change, and what's in store this weekend coming up on Locked On Suns.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are back. This is Locked On Phoenix Suns. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, and I'm your host, Brendon Kleen, a contributor at Suns.com, as well as Dime Magazine, and a credentialed media member covering the Suns for the past 5 seasons. Thank you for making Locked On Suns your first listen each and every morning as we make our way into the second half, really the home stretch of the 2022 season here for the Phoenix Suns. Should be a blast. Thank you to everybody listening across every single platform, especially our YouTube channel, where we are growing and growing and growing. Just 3 more days left to get your entry in for the Kelly Oubre bobblehead giveaway there, where you can send me proof that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, whether that's a DM, an email, a comment below the video, whatever it might be, and you will be one of the people in the drawing that will happen this Sunday. On this Sunday's show, which will be for Monday's episode, that is when I will announce who wins. Please get in there. And you can follow us at Locked On PHX Suns, of course, guys, to follow along with everything going on. Let's get right into it. Pretty clear where we have to start. Starting the lineup. That's where the Suns started as well. Chris Paul, right thumb avulsion fracture. We all know the deal by now. He will miss at least a month. And the big question heading into the game, who is going to start in Chris Paul's place? And we got our answer, obviously, very quickly. They went big. The Suns opted to go to a 1 guard, 1 center, and 3 wing lineup that they have been honestly leaning into quite a bit more this season throughout the year, but not really something that they ever start, of course, because normally that would mean taking one of your best players off of the court. In this case, well, the job was done for them, so no Chris Paul. Cam Johnson, effectively the replacement in the starting lineup. So they upsize in a big way, get more length and physicality on the floor, a little bit less playmaking. And that's where, we'll continue to monitor things. But I think the results speak for themselves, not only with Devin Booker's stat line of 25 points, 12 assists, and better than 50% shooting from the field. I mean, that is a MVP level performance. Your best player stepping up with his co-star out. That is what you want to see. But even aside from that, I think anywhere you look in this box score, you have to come away pleased and feel like Monty made a pretty good decision with how he ran the rotation. 32 assists for this team total, obviously led by Booker's 12. Just 15 turnovers, pretty good. You want to have that 2-to-1 ratio assist to turnovers. They cleared that, and then 13 of 34 from deep. If they're generating over 34 threes and they're making a good enough amount of them that you can feel like the shot quality was pretty good, that is a great indicator for this team as well. So the offense came out swinging, 31 points in that first quarter, a little bit of a lull in the second quarter, some strange a run by the Thunder really to close things out that felt uncharacteristic. The NBA, it happens, whatever. And then 76 points in the second half by the Suns to just really blow the top off of the game, roll it up, take it out to the back and throw it away. That was a wrap at that point. But again, not just Booker, but the whole team. Aaron Holiday, of course, remains the backup. I mean, that is the benefit of starting Booker, is that you are able to keep Aaron Holiday in that second unit spot. And I asked, Armani was asked about that after the game, and he said they wanted to allow Aaron Holiday to just be Aaron, and by that he meant play with energy, defend with an intensity that he maybe wouldn't be able to do if he was playing 36 minutes. And also to just get his bearings, continue to get comfortable. He has still only been here for, about 3 weeks now, but, really a week is taken out of that because of the All-Star break that they're coming off of right now. So still getting acclimated to playing in this 0.5 offense, to reading and knowing his teammates and all of that stuff. So I think that was part of the thinking here too. Yes, get Booker in position to maintain control over everything, put your best player out there in the position where you need him most, but also don't rock the boat too much, I think, is a part of this. And when you look at Holiday's box score, it was similar, and his impact was obvious for anybody who watched this game. 16 plus 16, the Suns were when he was out there tonight, which was a bench high at the very least. And it was their third highest on the team. 12 points, 5 assists, 5 of 5 from the field in 25 minutes. So good stuff. I mean, there's no really way to slice this offensively that you wouldn't come away optimistic about. I mean, that's just the honest truth. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the defensive issues to the extent that there were any. We'll talk a little bit about what else was really working tonight, but I just feel like A plus from Monty Williams. And he was asked this time, yet the question was by me, about where the starting lineup could go, because Cameron Payne was supposed to play in this game, at least as we were going into the break. That was the message, was Payne would be back, Landry Shamet would be back. Well, only in reality, Shamet ended up returning for this game, and Payne remains out. So will the lineup stay the same? Will the starting lineup stay the same, but maybe the rotation looks a little different, with Payne absorbing some of his obvious minutes that he'll be entitled to? Bottom line was, Monty said he had no idea. And obviously I doubt that that's not something he's thought about at all, but I also think he's trying to be realistic. I do think that there is a pretty genuine level of concern on his part of just surviving this stretch. I don't think they're overlooking the fact that they need to maintain a pretty high level of play just in order to obviously keep the 1 seed, to just keep their momentum as a group and all that stuff. So I don't think he hasn't thought about it, but I do think that it is just a matter of, look, we'll cross the bridge when it comes. Maybe that means Payne is not as close as we might have thought. The fact that Monty doesn't feel like a change is imminent, but nevertheless, for the foreseeable future, for tomorrow night's game, almost assuredly, I think you will see Booker as the starting point guard. Let's hope that it doesn't do too bad to his body, that he can survive physically and not be punished too much. 38 minutes tonight again. When he's on the ball, that is just an extra level of responsibility physically that he's not used to. So that is obviously a subplot, but at least for one night, flying colors, nobody can be anything but happy. And you walk away with another W, almost one win away from being 50-10, which is just a monstrous record. I mean, to get to 50 wins and only have 10 losses, we're watching greatness right now, guys. But let's move on to some of the other ways that this lineup change affected things across the team. Some other players who stepped up in that wing group, especially. First, though, guys, do you know why free trials renew without your consent? Well, it's pretty obvious. It's a business scam that is out to get you. So don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download TrueBill to take control of your subscriptions. TrueBill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions that you don't need, want, or simply just forgot about. Companies love to make it hard to cancel subscriptions. TrueBill flips that completely on its head, makes it incredibly simple. People save up to $720 per year on average when they use TrueBill, and all you got to do is link your accounts, and TrueBill will cancel the unwanted subscriptions in just one tap. You also have a TrueBill concierge to let you know when to cancel, so you don't have to consider it at all. TrueBill has over 2 million users who have saved over $100 million combined by canceling their subscriptions pronto. Don't fall for those scams. Start canceling today at TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. Go right now, TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. Today's show, guys, also brought to you by Rock Auto. When you walk into a chain auto parts store, or heaven forbid, a dealership, you are instantly met with dozens of rows of products, half a dozen guys behind the counter or ladies behind the counter trying to nickel and dime you, trying to just honestly flat out lie to you at times. But Rock Auto cuts the entire process out, simplifies things, and saves you money. So go to rockauto.com, check it out. Rock Auto are a family business. They've been serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. They have prices that are reliably low for every customer. And again, they've been doing this online for over 20 years, so they know how to make it easy. Just type the car in that you have, scroll down to the part that you need, and hit purchase, and it will be at your door within days. It is that easy. It is that smooth. It is that simple. So go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck, right? Locked on in there. How did you hear about us box when you make your purchase so they know we sent you? Amazing selection, reliably low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Devin Booker and Aaron Holiday were not the only players who benefited, who were affected by the lineup change with Chris Paul out of the lineup and the big ball, we call it small ball, I don't feel like you hear anybody say big ball, look that the Suns threw out there. In addition to Booker's 25 and 12 line, you also had all three of Crowder, Johnson, and Bridges stepping up in a massive way. So that is going to be interesting. Does that continue? Was that a byproduct of the lineup, or was that a byproduct of the Thunder not really being a great defensive team? I think it's probably a little bit of both. But the way that they got there, I think, is especially interesting here. A couple things. One, obviously, not having Chris Paul, you could feel that there was a little bit of unease. Even when they were scoring, you had, I think when I first turned the game on, because it started a little bit early, it was like the 11-minute mark in the first quarter, and Jay Crowder ran a pick and roll at the top of the key, like dribbling the ball around a screen from DeAndre Ayton. And I don't even remember what shot the Suns ended up getting in that possession, but it was, my eyes were like shining, and I didn't even have any idea how to process what was going on. You also had Crowder catch he was looping around the baseline to space the floor from one corner to the other during a Devin Booker drive or an Aaron Holiday drive at one point, and they passed it out to him, but he wasn't out to the behind the line yet, and he took a catch and shoot mid-range jumper, which hardly ever happens in the NBA, period, let alone from a guy like Jay Crowder. So there were some growing pains. There were some differences in terms of not having that point guard. But the other interesting part of this that happened was the one thing that the Thunder, I would say, were able to execute consistently defensively was that they completely decided, DeAndre Ayton, you're not beating us. Like, pick and roll. We're not going to give you mismatches. We're not going to give you seals. We're not going to allow you to have time when you catch the ball in the post. None of that. We're not doing it. And even when Derek Favors was not in there, who is the starting five for this team right now, even when it was Isaiah Roby, for instance, who was really their backup five, he is a small player. I mean, he is not a DeAndre Ayton-sized dude by any means. Even when he was out there, though, the Thunder were collapsing. They forced DeAndre Ayton into 5 turnovers. He was uncomfortable. He was pretty ineffective on offense. So those two things combined, the change in the point guard setup, the kind of discomfort there, and then the way that the Thunder were playing Ayton, all that created an environment where those 3 forwards had to step up, and they did. Again, though, the way that they did it was a little bit different. We talked about Crowder a little bit. He got to the free throw line as well 5 times, just a uncharacteristic game. All 3 of these players also had 4+ assists, and that's kind of the other interesting part. So I talked about Crowder running a pick and roll, but all 3, and I would even actually throw Torrey Craig in there, were very much given the green light to, hey, go play basketball. Like, you are going to get opportunities to dribble, to attack a closeout, to run a set, to run a pick and roll, to take the ball in transition down the floor, all these different sorts of things that we are not used to seeing those players do for this Suns team. And I don't know if I love it, to be completely honest with you. Like, I don't know if it will continue to work to have, especially when you consider all of that those, we'll just say those 3, we'll leave Torrey Craig out of it for right now because he had a little bit of a weird night, but all 3 of those players who don't handle the ball, I would say very often at all, to have 13 combined assists and just 2 combined turnovers, that does feel a little bit like a fluke because it was Oklahoma City. I don't think that you can count on that. So Interesting, probably productive in the long term that those three guys are going to get the opportunity to get comfortable in some of those new situations. Like that will be nothing but good if you can continue to win while also allowing a Cam Johnson to run a few pick and rolls per game, to drive to the basket more, etc. And you're still winning like that. Those reps will be valuable in the playoffs, but I don't necessarily think it will go as smoothly as it did tonight every single day. The other part, though, is that rim pressure. I really thought when I opened, so Cleaning the Glass, the stats website has shots. It breaks down field goal attempts by section, by area for every game in the whole league every night. It's really, really cool stuff. And I swore when I logged into the Cleaning the Glass for tonight that the game was far and away. I knew this. I was like, for sure, the Suns took so many more rim at rim shots than they normally do. Log in, get ready, prepping to have the tab up while I'm doing the show so I can look at it. Absolutely not. Completely wrong. The Suns were in the 4th percentile among all NBA games this season in terms of their rim frequency tonight. They only took a total of 13 shots. The Thunder actually took fewer, 11 shots. So strange game where it did feel like it felt that way to me. And when you consider also that 3 of those rim shots took place in one possession from JaVale McGee, you get an even bigger perspective on how that was looking. But where I really think that the especially Bridges and Johnson's extra volume tonight shows up is in that short mid-range area where the Suns took 31 shots tonight. And that's a kind of a sweet spot for Bridges. It's a sweet spot for Booker and Paul, of course, too. It's a place the Suns take a ton of shots in general, but I think that's where you might start to see Bridges and Johnson specifically feast a little bit. The Suns also did 17% of their possessions took place in transition tonight, which is excellent as well, because if there's fewer defenders down the floor when you are running, there's going to be more opportunities to attack the basket. So that is, at the end of the day, going to be important no matter if and when Paul is back. If Payne is back, it doesn't matter. The Suns are going to need to put pressure on the basket to be their absolute best. I think that's one area where having those bigger players who still do feel comfortable handling the ball will make a pretty big difference. So let's close things out. I am going to debut a new recap segment. I actually have 2, but we already talked about one of the guys, so I might save that for a show in the not too distant future, and it has to do with Aaron Holiday. Talked about him enough, though, so I will debut a second new recap segment when we get back. First, guys, this is the time of year where most of us have given up on our New Year's resolutions. We are back to the candy and the cookies and the popcorn and the soda pop and whatever. We are back to not working out. We are back to being a jerk. I don't know. But Built Bar can be the solution to all of those things, at least most of them. Built Bar makes it easy because they are packed with protein. They are light on calories. They're light on sugar, and they get you through the day. They are that power up that you need, and they taste delicious. Every single Built Bar covered in 100% chocolate, making it soft and easy to chew, and flavors to die for. Mint chocolate, peanut butter brownie, raspberry, strawberry, orange, tons and tons. Plus, Built Bar has recently launched Built Bar Puffs, which are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow, and they have even better flavors. Cinnamon churro, coconut marshmallow, or my personal favorite, lemon cheesecake. Delicious, delicious stuff. All of them, again, covered in 100% chocolate, soft, easy to chew, and packed with protein. At Built Bar, they are all about taste. They make it taste delicious first, then figure out how to make it healthy, and they pull it off every time. So Built Bar, again, part of your New Year's solution. Get back on track, put the right stuff in your body, and enjoy it. Go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your next order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Okay, let's get the normal recap segment out of the way first, because we do need to do some housekeeping there. That is the Built. Oh my gosh, it should be sponsored. The Built Bar Bench Mob Vibe Check, but no, the Bench Mob Vibe Check, no sponsor yet. Torrey Craig, I mentioned a little bit. He felt a little bit like the odd man out here. And I think it is going to be tough. That's where you might start to see some of the problems. What I don't think maybe has gotten talked about a lot yet because it hasn't really reared its head. Craig has been spectacular since he got here, is similar to something Monty Williams has brought up about Cameron Payne, which is the lack of, relatively speaking, a little bit less space, especially in that second unit with the different personnel that the Suns have this year. Last year, when Craig was on the floor, most of the time he was out there with Dario Saric or just playing small ball five with a bunch of other wings. This year, most of Craig's minutes, if not all of them, are going to come with JaVale McGee or DeAndre Ayton. There is no Dario Saric anymore. There is no Frank Kaminsky right now. So Craig, with his lack of shooting, and then if you throw a big man out there like Ayton or McGee, who are also not really going to be floor spacers, you start to run into some problems, right? So I think that, and you throw in the fact that Landry Shamet's not shooting the ball well, like that snowball effect. I think we might see games where it kind of swallows Torrey Craig up a little bit. It felt that way tonight, where it just, you never really felt his presence in the game. And I don't want to overreact to one game sample, but I do think that's pretty clear to see that that's going to be a change for him. It might be a little bit of an adjustment period. They might need to get creative with how they use him, especially as we get closer to the playoffs, but no big deal for right now. Landry Shamet is the other guy to hit on from this bench mob here. Oh, I don't even have a word or a phrase or a paragraph to describe this guy right now. He comes back from injury, looks just as energetic, moving just as well as always. There's no obvious physical explanation for what's going on, and he just keeps missing shots. And so 3 of 9, 2 of 6 from deep, 10 points, but a very inefficient 10 points. And you can see it. That's the thing that I think is so disappointing. It's such a bummer to watch him right now. And most of the season for Shamet is the shots are like missing, like with a capital M, missing. Like they are hitting the back of the rim. They are hitting, the resting point of the rim on top of the rim that connects to the backboard, like all sorts of awkward angles, shots that never look like they have a chance. And like that is absolutely kind of the only reason he's out there most of the time, is to make those shots, to put pressure on the defense, to kind of track him off the ball, to space the floor for his teammates, and then to make those shots when he does get the opportunity to take them. And that's not happening right now. And it's not happening for most of the season. Now, the Suns are in the fortunate position of it not having to really be a problem because they have so much talent elsewhere and it just hasn't bitten them. But TBD, if Payne comes back and the Suns are okay playing only 9 guys right now, then I think Payne will take Shamet's minutes. I think Holiday has already proven himself to be worthy of 20 plus minutes a night. And there's not a lot of other places to take them from. I mean, yes, you can take a little bit more away from Booker. So maybe in that regard, you see Monty play 10 guys and Shamet is able to play, 8 to 10 minutes just to give Booker more of a breather. But there's no really reality for me right now where Shamet is part of the playoff rotation unless things dramatically change. So I'll leave it there. There's not a lot more to add. He's not playing well. But the new recap segment, I had to spice things up. It's the first game out of the break. I haven't come up with a new one of these in a while. I usually will do, when I'm feeling like I need to spice things up, I'll usually do the Chris Paul, the Facundo Campazzo All-Stars, but Chris is out right now. So the guys that he clowns, it's not going to be happening for the rest of the regular season. So I got to come up with a new one. And here's what it is. It is, okay, I admit it, the Suns cannot guard that guy. Little long, we might need to workshop it. But it really, actually, here's what it's going to be. It's the Trae Young honorary "the Suns can't guard that guy" award, because the Suns cannot guard Trae Young. I mean, it's absolutely impossible. It's been the entirety of this era of the team since Bridges and Ayton got here. They cannot guard Trae Young. He was also obviously in their draft, and he has punished them every single time since. So you might know where I'm going with this already if you're paying attention, if you watched this game, if you looked at the box score. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Maybe it's not that weird to say that he's similar to Trae Young. I don't think that they move the same way on the floor. I don't think that they look the same physically. I don't think that their stats are always similar, but I would say Trey is a better passer than Shea. But as scorers and sort of the situations that they operate in within an offense, they are very similar. And I think that's why the Suns have similar types of problems. The Suns they don't have as much of an issue with the super fast players. Like John Morant, the Grizzlies pose problems for the Suns, but it's not like Morant has gone off for like 40 points on them, right? They can control that. They can handle the bigger playmakers like Luka or LeBron. They've been pretty decent at that, but it's these guys that can score from all three levels and who are just shifty and angular and awkward. And Trey is not quite the same to that level that Shea is, but they are similar. They can pull up from three, they can get to the basket, they can contort their bodies and finish at awkward angles. They have touch that you would not believe. They both have the floater game. And so it's the Trae Young honorary award. He doesn't need to be part of this class. He's already risen. He's already in the Ring of Honor for this trophy here. But it's true. The Suns do not have anything when it comes to Shea. He's going to do whatever. 32 points tonight, 13 of 22 from the field. If not for his 6 turnovers, which really contributed to the Suns being able to get out on the break a lot, this game maybe is closer if he's able to make a few more threes, turn the ball over a little less. But he was still incredible regardless, in spite of all that. So we'll see who else gets to be in that just highly honorable room. I mean, it's the cream of the crop in the NBA. For me to call you a Trae Young honorary Suns can't guard that guy winner, I mean, there's no better honor in the entire NBA. We'll see who else gets there, guys. Thanks for making Locked On Suns your first listen today and all week. Don't forget, drop that proof of subscription in my inbox and my DMs. And a comment below, whatever works for you, and you will be entered into the winning mix for this Kelly Oubre bobblehead. I'll talk to you guys next week. We got Pelicans, we got Jazz, lots to talk about, and it should be another fun week. I'll talk to you then.